Oh my God, worst customer ever. When I was working in a nightclub like 20 years ago, this woman asked me for water and I gave her a Perrier, and she was so mad that there were bubbles in the Perrier that she shook it up and dumped it all over me. Yep. Worst drink somebody made for you. I've been duped into having a cement mixer before. That was pretty gross. And snake bites, those are disgusting. Worst rookie mistake as a tourist. When I was in Japan, I went to a temple and I was wearing a tank top that showed my shoulders, and I didn't know that that was a big no-no, and the entire class got in trouble for it. What's one thing you can't help but judge? People who are rude. I judge them so much. The way you treat people you don't have to be nice to really shows something about your personality. What were you being grounded for most often as a teenager? My sassy mouth.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Most shitty thing a colleague did to you. When I was managing a nightclub, there was a girl that was supposed to be my friend who would bring bottles of booze in, sell them under the table, charge what we charged, and pocketed all of the money. And then got mad at me for firing her and asked me for a reference 3 years later.
No.
Yup! That was quite something. Have you ever invited guests to your house after work? Absolutely not. Did you ever show up to drunk at work? Yes, I have. When I worked for a restaurant whose name I shall not mention, it was my very first shift as a shift leader, and we decided to get into the Jägermeister the night before, and thank goodness my manager at the time was cool, but she came up to me and said, I can smell the drink from last night on you still. And most embarrassing hangover, I'd gone out to a bar, it was their closing night, got lit, so hungover that I couldn't get out of bed, and then Kate, who was my roommate at the time, made me a lovely, greasy, pancake and bacon breakfast. Her sister was over, who was visiting from Toronto, and I couldn't even sit up straight at the table. I had to lie down on the other chair. We call it the Mary hangover because Mary was at the apartment. The customer joke you cannot hear anymore. Thank God I don't have to listen to those anymore, so none of them. But I used to hear, Alexis, you mean like Alexis on fire? I used to hear that all the time. Life's guilty pleasure, oysters and champagne.
That's a good one. It's a great finish. Oysters and champagne.